guys, Aaron from MAPIT Accountancy here. I just wanted to do a quick video leading up to the exam sitting now in March, just to talk about how to manage that process up to the exams and a little bit about in the exam hall themselves, because I'm getting a lot of emails at the minute from people who are panicking. They're worried that there isn't enough time, they don't know what to do, and they're ending up really not doing anything, to be honest. So what I want to do is I want to address that, and I want to give you some thoughts as to what you should be doing leading up to the March sitting, and then I want to think about ways in which you can improve that. Okay, so if you are panicking at this point, if you're the sort of person who is maybe trying to do questions, then when you mark them you got it wrong and you get really frustrated, and then perhaps spend an hour worrying about, oh, I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to give up, before you then get back to actually doing some more work, well then you need to stop and take some time to think about how you can better manage your time in the lead into these exams. So I'm going to talk later on about techniques for that in terms of actually managing yourself. But first of all, I want to think about what you should physically be doing between now and the exam sitting. And that is, at this point, practicing questions. So forget about trying to cover more of the syllabus. Forget about wherever you are. You need to now be looking at past paper questions. Don't care what the excuse is. Don't care why you might not do that. You know, because you haven't covered the syllabus, or because you don't feel you're ready, or because there's something really interesting on TV. Don't care. Go and just do questions. Now you need to do the question, and then you need to learn from the answer. What you don't want to do is, as I said, panic, think I can't do this, I didn't get it right. You won't get it right. You never get them right at the start. You need to take the examiner's answer and learn from it. Okay, mark it correctly. What I used to do was I kept a little book beside me, and anything I came across that I didn't know in the past, I wrote it into the book. So if I came across something in a paper that I wasn't able to do, I learned how to do it by looking at the answer and wrote it down in a book. Now what that meant was I had a book that told me about things I didn't know. If I came to that again and still couldn't do it, I'd really have to work out what it was and why I was having a problem with it. And on that point, what I don't want you to do is to ignore areas you don't like or you find difficult. Because do you know what's going to happen? That's the area that's going to come up in the exam. I had an example of this whenever I did my exams. I didn't like intangible assets. Don't ask me why. Didn't like them. Didn't like the sound of them. So the day before the exam, I started to think, actually, what if this comes up? I might be in trouble here. And what I did was I bit the bullet and I went and started to look and learn intangible assets. Turns out they weren't difficult. Turns out I had built it up to something it wasn't in my head. And students do this a lot with things like financial instruments, which if you break it down are actually not that difficult. So if that's you, go and take that topic that you're scared of and learn it. It will take less time than you think, and it will not be as difficult as you think. If you open your mind to saying, right, I am going to learn this and I'm going to know it. In my example, in the exam, intangible assets came up and I was able to do it, and actually it wasn't anywhere near as difficult as I thought it was going to be. So this process, I know you think, oh, learning from the answer takes time. It does take time, but not as much as you think. And it will build and build from now to the exam, so that actually you'll have seen lots of different examples by the time you get there. Remember, you only need 50%. So focus on those basics, focus on those core things that come up a lot, and that will get you through. Now I said I also want to think particularly to you guys who panic or who worry, who find it difficult to manage yourself in the exam or leading up to the exams. So a couple of little things I want you to do. Number one, I want you to think about why you are doing these exams. And that's not related to other people. I don't care if you're thinking about what other people will think, or what your boss will think, or what your parents will think, or what anybody else will think. I'm thinking about you. Why are you doing the exams? Is it to get a better job? Is it to get more money? Is it to show yourself that you can do it? And I want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on why you are doing it. Keep it positive, and I want you to come back to that every time you feel like you can't do something or you start to panic. Because that should be the positive reason as to why you're doing it. Not putting pressure on, but saying, look, this is why I'm doing it, so now I'm going to stop panicking, focus on that, and do these questions. And on the questions, what I want you to do, point 2, is I want you to visualize. I want you, at different periods between now and the exam, preferably every day, to visualize yourself doing really well in the exam. I literally want you to visualize the exam hall, you going into the exam, sitting down, and every question you wanted to come up, comes up. It's brilliant. You couldn't have asked for a better paper. Everything's flowing. You know, this must have happened to most of you at some stage in one of your exams. It just went really well. Everything you wanted came up. It was great. I want you to take that experience and I want you to visualize it and keep doing that every day leading up to the exam. Try to focus on that positivity, and do you know what? You will bring that calm and that focus into the exam hall with you. Even if the paper isn't as good as you want it to be, that visualization will keep you calm enough so that once you get to the exam, you're in that zone, you're in that positive zone and able to deal with whatever comes up. So keep it positive, focus on why you are doing the exams, visualize yourself doing well, literally doing well in the exam hall in terms of the paper that you want and the questions you can answer, and you'll find it much more easy to deal with the lead-in to this next exam sitting. So keep it positive and get through and pass.